Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we are with more MRC GTTCC goodness. We are at Tokyo Expressway, the East Inner Loop for race 2 of round 3 with Elite 1 as per usual. Today we are all running wet tires. It is absolutely raining hard. No foul language on this channel. Yeah, it is raining cats and dogs out there, so all on wet tires. Let's go down onto the grid. As remember from the last race, we've got a few new faces into Elite 1. We'll see what cars they're driving. We are reverse grid of the last round, so we'll see how they line up. So the unfortunate one for pole position in race 2 is P1 Apache. His RCZ had a horrible time in race 1. He'll be looking for a little bit of redemption in here, but in a front wheel drive we know they're slow off the line, but they're not really going to be the strongest round here today, so we'll see how he gets on during the race. In second we've got Mutt36. He won race 2 of the last round. Didn't have a great race 1 this time around, so he's starting towards the front. Can he repeat the feat of last week? We'll see as the race unfolds. We've got Street Boy in third in his TT. He's not had the best of races in any of them, but he sticks in there. And last time out in the TT, he was definitely mixing it up. So we'll see if he can get stuck in again today at Tokyo. In fourth, we've got one of the new guys in, Surfer Ev. He's in his quick fit VW Scirocco. He was up and down the leaderboard in race 1. We'll see how he gets on here in race 2. Hopefully a little bit more consistency from Surfer will hold him up the grid. We'll see what happens for him. In fifth, we've got another one of the Michelin drivers and the new guy to Elite 1, Walmid. He is in the TT. In sixth, we got Diablo. He's obviously still in his TT. He had a few offs in the last race, so starting a little bit towards the front of race 2. But he had a decent race at Goodwood, if I remember rightly. So we'll see how he gets on here today in Tokyo. In seventh, we've got P1 Valium in another front wheel drive, TT. He had a sort of decent race last time out, but one or two mistakes pushed him a little bit further back. And finally, in eighth, we have a non-front wheel drive. We have Ginge Imposter in his McLaren 650S. He was in that battling group all the way through the race, that included Valium, Diablo. So we'll see how he gets on today. He's gonna be quick off the start compared to everyone in front of him in the front wheel drive, so I'm interested to see where he ends up heading into turn 1. In ninth, we got Haz 91 in his Scirocco. A bit of an indifferent race last time out in race 1. He was running okay, but then had an incident. I don't think we caught it, and ended up way down the pack. But fought his way back up and joined that battling group, so he'll be one to watch today. He went well in the Scirocco last time out, but a couple of mistakes dropped him down the field, so we'll see if he can go better today at Tokyo. In 10th, we got Infinity Decals. He's in a TT. We've seen him do a 2-stop strategy. I nearly questioned it in race 1, but it worked out well for him. Got him up into 5th. Can't see there being any strategy in this race today with how wet it is out there. It's probably just going to be a straight sprint race, so we'll see if he can fight his way through the field. In 11th, we've got CJW Racing, one of the other new guys up into Elite 1. He's also in a TT. It seems to be a very ongoing theme now in Elite 1. See, he had a very good race in round 1. Got himself up into up into fourth, stayed there for most of the race, but just lost a little bit of tyres towards the end and was able to be jumped by Terrence. So finished fifth in the end. Sorry, I said Infinity Decals finished fifth. He finished second in the last race. So yeah, it wasn't a bad race at all from CJW. In 12th we got Terrence in his TT, a great race last time out. He pipped CJW for fourth, like we just said. We know he goes well in the TT as well, having a decent result at Goodwood, so it'll be good to see Terrence fight through the field, as I'm sure he will. In 13th we got Mental Mike in a Jaguar, another one who has not chosen a front wheel drive. We've got two so far in this 15-man grid. He is driving, of course, for the Red Bull team. We'll see how he gets on in the powerful Jag. He's going to have the legs over all these front wheel drives down this long straight at Tokyo East Center, so be sure to see him pass a few people down it. In 14th, sorry, we've got Ghost Realm. He's in a McLaren 650S. He had a great race last time out. In race 1, he battled with Mike for most of the way through and then broke away just towards the end. He finished in second, so if you're looking maybe to go a step further, having the McLaren is a very good handling car, and the trick with the McLaren Group 4 is to change in around about half revs, so keeping the revs down will probably help him in the wet conditions. So we'll see how he fights his way through the grid. It's going to be an interesting watch. Hopefully he can do well for Team Monster. And last but not least, in 15th, race 1, we're in a V-show. He hit the front and did not look back in race 1. Being in a Scirocco, though, how far is he going to be able to fight that thing forward? As they won't be the OP car they normally are today. So we'll see how he gets on during the race. So that's the grid and how they line up and the vehicles they are using for race 2 at Tokyo. Let's jump down the front and see how they get on when the lights are red. So we join the guys at the front in the tunnel. It's going to be dry for a while, but we're going to head out into the rain shortly as the revs build. Not much room for the cameramen down here, so we're squeezed in on the third row, and they're away. As we see all the front wheel drives trying to get away, and you just see the McLaren breezing through the middle of them all, and look how far Ghost Realm is already. He's cruising up through them all. Be looking for the Jag of Mental Mike as well. He should have got a good start away ahead of these front wheel drives as they appear into the red and the darkness for the first time. We got Ginger Poster already up into second. I said look out for him down into turn 1. Where will he be? Hopefully they all get through his heavy braking zone in the wet for the first time. Oh, there's a bit of skittles going on. There's a few cars being pushed out wide, but they're just trying a little bit too hard into this wet turn 1. We've managed to keep everyone facing forward. A few of them clatter the barriers. Valium's dropped away to the back. He's one of the ones that was pushed out wide. Mental Mike maybe as well as has 91. Nightmare start for them fellas. Apache has got back in front of Ginger Poster. The RCZ is one of the more faster FFs. It has a good top end as far as I'm aware. I generally don't drive FFs, so if I do say stuff that sounds a little bit stupid about the FFs, I do apologise. I don't like them. I think they're the devil's work. So I never race them. So we'll see how much of a cock-up I make of calling some of this. As Ghost Realm dives around Surfer Ev, who clattered into the wall coming out of the bridge. The one good thing with Tokyo is, especially in the wet, is if you do have an off, you're not going too far off track, because there's walls everywhere. Bad news is, when you catch a wall, it really does slow you down, so you need to try and avoid them at all costs. Ghost Realm has had a fantastic opening lap. I mean, look at him, he's up in the second. That man started in 14th. He was nearly last on the grid, and by the time we entered the start finish straight for the first time, he is up to second. A great opening lap from Ghost Realm, a fantastic drive. Let's see if he can get into the slipstream and past Apache and be leading the race by the start of lap 2. he's got Ginger Imposter tucked up behind him as well. And you got Mutt and Surfer Ev tucked in together. Two Scirocco's nearly making one limousine Scirocco. Mutt's just trying to tell Surfer Ev which way he's going to go. Surfer Ev can take the other way, and then there's no argy-bargy down at turn 1. Just see Street Boy banging against the wall, trying to slow the car down. Surfer Ev and Mutt still get a little bit close around the corner. Ghost Ram didn't manage to get past the RCZ down the straight, but he's closer than he's been the whole lap now. Apache having a good run so far in the race. He's holding off the two McLarens behind. Terrence Bisho now up to 9th. He's actually in 10th. He didn't quite get past Walmart there. Infinity Decals on 11th. CJW is in 12th. Metal Mike is not making the strides I thought he would. Maybe struggling in the Jag, in the wet. She is a heavy car, so she could pendulum about. The front end of that car is especially heavy with that huge bonnet and that big V8 engine under the hood. Might be struggling just to get the car turned, and has 91 of P1 volume. I'm not going to let him get too far away. We jump back with the leaders. And it goes from looking up the inside. Oh, he just gets the door closed on him slightly, but manages to maybe pull through. Yeah, he's going to take the lead, heading down onto the start-finish straight. Maybe could have held off just a little bit there, but he might feel he has the speed to pull away. The RCZ is going to be in the McLaren slipstream. You see Apache tucking right in underneath that wing of Ghost Realm. There's a lot of sensible racing going on here. And you see the McLaren just pulling away from the RCZ a little bit there. And you've got Ginger Imposter coming round the outside. He's going to come round the outside of both of them. He's up into first place as they head down to turn 1. The two McLarens are side by side. Can Ginger get it stopped and turned in before the RCZ? As you see Ghost Ram running wide, Ginger just switches to the inside. And you got Apache has got up into the lead. We're swapping leads all over the place. It's somebody else in a bit of a sideways moment there, but we didn't quite catch it. So Apache is back up into the lead now, ahead of Ghost Ram. And then you've got Ginger Imposter still sitting in third. We'll jump on board him. Look at the lock he's having to put in there to try and get the car around the corner. Just carry that little bit too much speed, it'll try and push you straight into the wall. Wipeout doing the business for him, keeping that windscreen nice and clear. As I said before, I can't see there being much strategy in this race because these tyres are probably going to last. We're 3 laps in and not even a hint of tyre wear. Ghost Ram's had a bit of a slow exit through the bridge section. Ginger gives him a little bit of a bump draft there. Maybe heavy on the brakes up into this final corner. Stick out wide and then try and cut back in. Keep you out of the outside wall. Last thing you want to be doing is touching that outside wall on the run down into this long start finish straight and kill all your momentum. Unfortunately this time Ginger's a little bit too far out of the slipstream of the two ahead. They do have a 7th gear, these McLarens, so it will give them a little bit of an advantage. See there, Apache is just struggling to get to 160 as he gets a little bit of a bump from Ghost Ram there, which just spikes his speed up, but the McLaren will easily sit up around 167 in the slipstream. Apache gets it stopped and turned in. So we're on lap 4, we'll take a run through the field and see how we're lining up. Sorry, we're focusing a little bit too much on the front, but they've been battling every corner so far. So we've got Apache in first, followed very closely by Ghost Ram, followed by Junior Imposter. They broke away from the pack behind. You see Diablo trying to make a break from now in fourth. We got Mutt in and Scirocco in fifth. Terrence in the TT in sixth, followed by Street Boy. Surfer Ev, V-Show now up into ninth. Mike in 10th. He's trying to make a move now, trying to get that Jag up the field. Infinity Decals is down in 11th. Warm in 12th. CJW in 13th. P1 Valium in 14th and has 91 in 15th. See the leaders come through that tricky bridge section, so easy to slide yourself out into the wall. And actually Diablo is starting to look closer and closer to these guys in front. He's really seems to have found a little bit of a groove. The Australian, probably used to the hot dry heat, is doing well in the wet conditions in Tokyo. But if anybody who's not involved in MRC wants to get in on these races, you'll find MRC, the Mature Racing Club, on Facebook. Always welcoming in new drivers that are clean and fair. That's all they ask for, is just to drive respectfully and clean. And you'll enjoy some fantastic races that you see like these here of the GTTCC. They have plenty of different series and even games being played, so hit them up on Facebook, get involved. A great bunch of lads. And we've got, while we've been talking, we've got Ghost Realm up into the lead. Can he hold on to it through the hairpin? Apache just seems to have his number through the hairpin, but Ghost Realm tries to switch back. Can he get better traction? No, Apache pulls out. Ghost Realm needs to just work on that hairpin. I'm sure he'll be aware of it by now, and he'll be looking to nullify Apache. That seems to be just what everywhere that Apache has a massive advantage at the minute. Seems to beat Ghost Realm through the hairpin. Jin just dropped off a little bit. Just see a little bit of oversteer there. He's quite happy down in third, as you see there. Look at the time Diablo just lost there by slamming his TT into that wall. But breaking away from the pack behind a little bit now. But look, Mike is now up to 6th, so he probably just got that car on the straight past all these front wheel drives, because he would have had such a speed advantage over them. As you see him go pole by a second. Mike has really got it hooked up now. Maybe he's finally found the groove he needs for that Jag. I drove the Jag quite a lot in this game. This condition's probably suited well with its tyre wear anyway, because she likes to eat her front tyres, but can't see it doing it here. We'll see how he does against Mutt Scirocco here as they head on down this start finish straight. Look at that train of cars through the spray. Great driving from these guys in these tricky conditions, being able to stay apart from each other and not have pile up after pile up. Mutt's doing 140. Oh, Mike is already past him and away down the road. Mike doing 160 now. Mutt's doing 160 in the slipstream. But the Jag is just that little bit quicker. She's still climbing. If he can catch the slipstream with Diablo, he will pull away from Mutt behind, but I think he's going to be a little bit too far back from that this time round. We better be careful down in the turn 1 now. And they all make it through. Just Mike's actually going to end up losing 2 places there. He was stuck on the outside heading into turn 1. Oh, and he lights up the rear tyres. And around she goes. All that was achieved is now lost. Start again, Mike. He just set the fastest lap of the race with 2:19.118. Meanwhile, Ghost Realm has finally got ahead of Apache and made it stick. We'll go back and see if we can see where that happened. We'll jump on board with Ghost Realm now. She'll see him pull out from alongside the RCZ down the straight. And look at the speed advantage he has over the front wheel drive, even in the slipstream. The RCZ cannot close on the McLaren. See the pink gloves there of Ghost Realm. Black and green car with pink gloves just reminds me of a Batman villain. And he finally keeps the car on the apex. See Apache trying to get up the inside, but he gets a great exit this time, Ghost Realm, and that is the job done. Can he keep this up now and lead the rest of the race as we're approaching the halfway mark? Nice bit of drifting there through turn 3. Must have knew the cameras were on him. So we'll just take a run through the grid order as it stands. Sorry, grid order, the field order as it stands at the moment. We've got Ghost Realm in first, Apache in second, Ginger Poster in third, Diablo fourth, Mutt in fifth, Terrence in sixth, Surfer F seventh, Fisho in eighth, Walmud in 10th. So Street Boy in 9th, he's got past Walmud. Infinity Decals 11th, CJW Racing 12th, P1 Valium in 13th, Metal Mike now down in 14th after that spin, exiting the hairpin, and Has 91 is down the back. And we see Ghost Realm just seems to have pulled out a gap now to Apache, who's going to become under threat now from Ginge. This could be Apache's worst nightmare. Both McLarens get past and actually start pulling away and leave him in no man's land. As you see, he tucks behind in the RCZ, but he can't close on the McLaren. See him bouncing on 157. Oh, just breaking the car. Oh, Apache completely catches himself out with his brake in there and nearly fires Ginge through the hairpin. I think he just backs off there and lets Ginge hold the position. Could have been considered a push to pass there, so fair racing from Apache. Made a mistake and he let Ginge keep the spot. Just going to give Diablo a chance to catch up to the back of the RCZ. He's done well to break away from the pack behind him. Yeah, he's closer than he's been at any point of the race so far. Really got that TT under control. As long as there's no commentators cursing out and bend it into a wall or spin. Oh look, he's carrying so much more speed than Apache is at the moment. He's really got that TT dancing to his tune. Through the final turn there, just closes up even a little bit more. Just constantly eating time out of Apache's lead over him. And then look at that train behind, that is unreal. We'll have a look at that in a second. Just see how Diablo gets on against Apache. He's firmly in the spray, in the slipstream of that Peugeot. He was thinking of pulling out. Is he just going to sit maybe and buck draft him? He can't quite catch. See, even there, the TT is... he can't quite catch the RCZ. I found this in my race, had a TT behind me and it pulled out alongside and then just stopped because it didn't quite have the top end it needed. Oh, he tucks back in. He's going to try a switch back there, but is it going to move? Is the move going to work? No. RCZ just pulls out a little bit on him. Time to try again. Then we'll have a look at this group behind we saw. So we got Terrence, he's leading, Surfer, Ev, Mutt, V-Show, CJW, Walmart, Street Boy, and Valium. And now joining, and Infinity Decal, sorry, and joining the back is Mental Mike. What a pack. Sorry, those last three are a little bit off the pace of them. But Terrence is actually starting to break away now. He's making a break for escaping the slipstream like Diablo did. And it is working. He's breaking away from Surfer Ev, who's trying to go with him and breaking a little bit away from the guys behind. We're nearly going 3 wide. I don't recommend that in these conditions around here. See sparks fly there, as I think it was CJW maybe just catching the wall a little bit there. Jump on board with CJW. Look how close he is to the back of this Scirocco. Behind there you see Walmart. And we got a bit of bump drafting going on here. Oh, as you see the ones in front just break away from the TT and pull away, look. This is what I'm saying, the TT is just hampered by his top end. It's good red short tracks, but big long straights. No. The 3 Scirocco's managed to break away a little bit from the TT behind. If we come 3, nearly 4 wide down towards the hairpin, we all get a bit of a squeeze there on show by Surfer Ev and Walmart. As they all start mixing about. No, there's been no silly moves, no massive loss of breaking point, sliding into people a little bit in turn 1, but that's to be expected first time round the track. Yeah, but everyone seems to be behaving themselves quite well. So a lot of respectful racing going on. Check in with the front. Ghost Realm now is trying to check out at the front. He's got Ginger and Poster behind. They have really broke away now from Apache and Diablo. I think the bump draft to catch up, they would need to swap places, these two, but when you're racing, that isn't going to happen, and you're racing for opposing teams. You're just going to try and get as far away as you can. bump drafting the TT is not going to work with the RCZ. Oh, me. There you go, Valium trying to bump draft the Jag. It seems to be working so far. Infinity decals is going in. It's got a bit of wear on those front tires. 9 minutes left of the race. What has he been doing? Because if you look at Ghost Ram and Ginger Poston and McLaren, you can just about see a tiny bit of wear on all 4 tires. Apache's got a tiny bit on his RCZ, Diablo a tiny bit on his. Tiny bit of wear on Terrence, a little bit more on V-Show and the Scirocco. Again, same amount in Surfer Ev. Walmart in the TT has a little bit more. Mark has a little bit more. Yeah, it seems to be the guys further down have got a bit more wear, but it seems to be the Scirocco's will be wearing more than the TTs. But you see the likes of this rear-wheel drive Jag hardly anywhere on all 4 tires. The same with the McLarens. They're looking after their tires so much better than the front wheels, even in these wet conditions. You would think that the front wheel drives would be able to look after them a little bit more, but they still seem to be burning up those fronts. Funny decals has now switched to intermediates. Interesting strategy. I did try the intermediates in practice for this, but I found they didn't quite have the stopping power and the turning power, obviously, of the full wet. I think it's just a little bit too wet for the intermediates to cope with. They'll work, but I don't think they're the best tire to be on. We see these two really trying to stretch their legs now, work together. They're not really fighting each other. Well, fastest lap now by Ginge and Foster, which is probably helped out by the slipstream in front of him of Ghost Ram, as he just goes very deep into the first turn. You see there what I was talking about, just the early shift that you have to do in the McLaren. Past that point it starts losing torque, so there's no point in revving it out, which can really help in a race which is dependent on fuel. This one isn't, but we don't have, there's no fuel multiplier on here. Apache still in 4th, fighting off Diablo. He's actually stretching away a little bit from Diablo now. We're approaching the last 5 minutes of this race. Terrence has had another great race. Just goes about his business very well. Terrence is always in or amongst it somewhere. And then we've got a bit of a train. Walmart being followed by Vishu, being followed by Surfer Ev. So TT being chased down by 2 Scirocco's. Then we got another train of Matt CJW, Street Boy, and now Matt on Mike. So we've got 3 front wheel drives being chased down by a Jag. Walmart's still just hanging on. The V-Show has now got his nose ahead. So is Walmart. No, Walmart's actually lost out to V-Show and Surfer Ev now. as they all tuck in to form one line of cars. There you got Mud and CJW trying to bump draft, and the Jag is just driving clean around the outside. So Metal Mike now up to 9th. .122 from Infinity Decals on the intermediate, so a little bit slower than some he's been doing. He was doing 121s. Maybe he should have stuck another set of wets on. And edge front, Ghost Realm is just managing his race pace, managing his race with no real pressure from behind. He's got out front and stuck out front. Maybe that Hydra edition of his monster livery in this very hydrated track is doing him well. They're going to stretch that one. Got Ginger Pasta. He's had a great race as well in the Budweiser McLaren. I said to watch out for him at the start, and you literally seen the two of them driving straight through the middle of all the front wheel drives. Ginge holding the fastest lap at 119.084. Diablo now just, he's in a world of his own at the moment, but he has to be careful because he's got in front of Apache. And Terrence looks like he's about to get in front of Apache as well. So Apache really starting to struggle in the latter stages of this race. He does have a bit more wear on those fronts than either of those TTs. The LC said it is a bit of a bigger car. Maybe it is just pushing those fronts a little bit harder. That's where he's now losing spots. He's dropped down from 3rd down to 5th. I see Terrence just able to outbrake him into the hairpin. A little bit of a nudge there from Apache, but nothing too untoward. We see V-Show being followed by Walmart through the hairpin. Surfer Ev at the back. Metal Mike keeping the Jag, facing forward this time. He's got the 3 ahead to Grafter as he sets the fastest first sector. That Jag is pretty quick in a straight line, so kind of expected that to be the case in sector 1. CJW having quite a quiet race at this point. Matt has fallen back down a little bit, down to 11th. That's Street Boy and Valium, the 2 Michelin running cars. Infinity Decals now being caught by Has 91 to the 223 last time round. Yeah, he really is struggling now on those intermediates. Just see him taking a couple of bites at the turn in there, and even on a little bit worn wets at the back. I wonder whether didn't catch it, or whether Has 90 had jumped into the pits at some point. But we just see as we flick to Ghost Realm doing a nice little drift around the final corner. He's heading down the start finish straight for the final time. This has been a race he has really took by the scruff of the neck very early on, and then got past Apache eventually and kept him behind, and Apache has really dropped off in this latter stages. But congratulations to Ghost Realm taking the win in race 2 of round 3. Here comes the handbrake. We got Ginger Pasta coming in 2nd. Diablo has had a very good race, just sitting there going about his business quite quietly, coming home in 3rd. Terrence as well, going about his business well in 4th, just ahead of Apache in 5th. V-Show is just going to squeeze out Walmart on the line. Surfer F coming home in 8th, Metal Mike 9th, CJW in 10th, Matt coming home in 11th, just ahead of Street Boy in 12th. P1 volume just looks like he's burning off penalties, or as he's stuck it in auto drive. Finishing in 13th, and you got Haas 91 just ahead of Infinity Decals, who has been struggling on those intermediates and putting them on. This is going to be a straight drag race down to the finish line. Looks like the TT's gonna just miss out. Yep, Haas 91 finishes 14th, Infinity Decals.